Biology and psychology. To start with a quick definition, biology is the scientific study of living organisms and how they interact with each other and their environments. Within biology, one of the most fascinating areas is how our brain and nervous system allow us to think, feel, and act. If you think about it, every single movie you make, every word you say, and even every memory you recall is tied back to biology. Today we'll be focusing on the biological side of psychology, how the nervous system and the brain control everything we do. The main purpose of the nervous system is simple: it controls everything. It takes in information from the outside world through our senses, processes that information, and then sends signals back to the body, telling it how to respond. For example, if you touch something hot, your nervous system reacts instantly. You don't even have to think about it. That's the nervous system protecting you. It handles both voluntary actions like raising your hand in class and involuntary actions like your heartbeat, breathing, and digestion. The nervous system allows us to keep the body balanced, a process called homeostasis. Without it, the body couldn't survive or respond to the world around us. To understand how the nervous system communicates, we need to look at the neuron, the basic building block. First, dendrites. These receive incoming signals from other neurons. Next, the cell body, or soma, contains the nucleus, which acts as a control center. Next, the axon carries electrical impulses away from the cell body. The myelin sheath insulates the axon and speeds up the signal, kind of like the plastic coating on an electrical wire. Finally, you have the axon terminals. These send signals to the next neuron or to a muscle or gland. This structure makes communication in the nervous system both fast and reliable. In fact, signals can move along a neuron at speeds up to 250 miles per hour. Next, I'll be talking about how the nervous system communicates. Neurons talk to each other using a neural impulse, or an electrical signal that travels down the axon. When it reaches the axon terminals, chemicals called neurotransmitters are released into the synapse, or the gap between neurons. This follows the all or none principle. Either the neuron fires at full strength or it doesn't fire at all. There's no in between. After firing, the neuron enters a refractory period, or a short time where it can't fire again until it resets. This combination of impulses and neurotransmitters is how information constantly flows through our body, from making a split decision in a sports game, to calming down after stress, or to simply remembering your password. Next, we'll be talking about some neurotransmitters that I talked about from the last page. The most important ones in psychology are dopamine. This helps regulate movement, motivation, and it's the brain's reward system. It's why you feel good after achieving something. Next, serotonin. This influences mood, sleep, and appetite, and low serotonin is often linked to depression. Endorphins are your natural painkillers that create pleasure and reduce stress. It's like a runner's high. And acetylcholine is essential for muscle movement and also plays a role in memory and learning. These chemicals are crucial because imbalances in them are linked to conditions like depression, anxiety, and Parkinson's disease. This shows how biology and psychology connect directly to mental health. The divisions of nervous system. The nervous system is divided into two main parts: the central nervous system, which is the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, which are the nerves that branch out to the rest of the body. The peripheral system then splits into two more parts: the somatic nervous system, which controls our voluntary movements, again, which is like raising your hand, and autonomic nervous system, which handles involuntary processes like heart rate and digestion. The autonomic system then has another two branches, which is the sympathetic system, which prepares the body for fight or flight by increasing heart rate and energy, and the parasympathetic system, which calms the body, slowing the heart rate and promoting rest and digest. Together, they keep the body balanced depending on the situation. For example, before a big test or sports game, your sympathetic system kicks in, but after, your parasympathetic system helps you relax. Deeper understanding of the brain. To study the brain, scientists use imaging tests, such as a CT scan, which takes X-ray images to show brain structure, a PET scan, which measures brain activity using a radioactive tracer, and MRI, which uses magnets and radio waves for a highly detailed picture. These tools are not only for medical purposes, like diagnosing a concussion in an athlete, but also for researching mental health, memory, and learning. For example, researchers can actually see which part of the brain light up when someone is solving math problems or recalling a memory. Next, we'll go into the different parts of the brain. The The frontal lobe handles decision making, planning, and voluntary movement. The parietal lobe processes touch and body sensations. The temporal lobe is important for hearing, language, and memory, and the occipital lobe is all about vision. We'll go deeper. The corpus callosum connects the left and right hemispheres of the brain. The thalamus relays sensory information. The hypothalamus regulates hunger, thirst, temperature, and hormones. The pituitary gland, known as the master gland, controls all hormones. The pineal gland regulates sleep cycles. The amygdala controls emotions like fear and aggression. The hippocampus is crucial for memory formation. The mammillary bodies assist with memory. The pons help with sleep and breathing. The medulla oblongata controls heart rate and breathing. And the cerebellum controls or coordinates balance and fine movement. All these parts work together like different players on a team, each with a specific role, but all working towards the same goal, keeping you alive and functioning. Finally, we'll talk about the cerebral cortex. This is the brain's outer layer and center for higher level thinking. The somatosensory cortex processes touch and body sensations. The motor cortex controls voluntary movement. And finally, the Broca's area helps us produce speech, while Wernicke's area helps us understand it. Together, the cortex allow for thought, language, culture, creativity, and all the complex skills that make us human. This is what separates humans from most other animals, our ability to reason, use language, and build societies. Final thoughts. In summary, the nervous system and brain are the foundations of how we think, feel, and behave. From neurotransmitters carrying signals between neurons, the brain's specialized regions for memory, emotion, language, psychology, and biology are deeply connected. Understanding this system helps us not only in science and medicine, but also in improving mental health, enhancing learning, and even supporting athletes and performers. The more we understand about the brain, the better we can understand ourselves.